Alrighty, welcome to Rants Without Pants, which you can watch on shophead.blogspot.com. My name is Adam Shabo. You may know me from the Madison, Milwaukee power pop band The Shabelles, or from me last week, belting out the show tunes.
Gotta stop that man, gotta stop that man. A secretary is not a toy, no, my boy, not a toy. Well, it's been a long day.
Anyway, on this week's program, I'll be talking about Obama losing the first presidential debate, Obama's winning job numbers, and Ann Althouse and her silly post and letter that she sent out. But first, let's talk about the debate. I know the presidential debate has been talked about in great length, but please bear with me. I have some things I need to say. President Obama, you got your ass kicked by Romney on the first presidential debate. That is the truth. Everyone knows it. Here's the deal. We can help turn things around. I'm going to help turn things around. I am going to be your debate coach. And I'm going to explain what you should have said during the debate. First of all, you did not look into the camera or into your opponent's eyes. You were looking down the whole time. What is up with that? You were writing tons of notes. It's not War and Peace. Just write a few notes and then look up and talk to Lair and Romney. You also didn't talk about the facts, which is even worse. Obama, you need to get psyched up before the big game. You need to be in the locker room, just listening to Metallica and getting psyched up like offensive tackle John Henderson.
Oh, Joe, that ain't even good enough. Come on, Joe! Ah! Thank you, baby! Thank you! You making blood come from my damn mouth! That's what I'm talking about, baby! You gotta make blood come to the mouth! You can't just smack me and don't hit me hard! That's bullshit! When you hit a motherfucker, you hit that motherfucker! Let's kick their ass, motherfucker! Kick their ass! Let's go!
One of the other things you want to do right away is, whenever it's your turn to talk, you should just get your iPhone and put on the Rocky theme. Trust me, that will help.
My number one principle is there'll be no tax cut that adds to the deficit. I want to underline that. No tax cut that adds to the deficit.
Obama, this is what you should have said. Romney, you know perfectly well that the Bush tax cuts add trillions and trillions of dollars to the deficit that we would have to borrow from China. You know that perfectly well. In fact, the deficit is mostly stuff of Republicans, not Democrats. The stimulus package is a small part of the deficit when you look at the Bush tax cuts and the wars. So, give me a break. Check out this graph I brought.
I'm sorry, Jim. I'm going to stop the subsidy to PBS. I'm going to stop other things. I like PBS. I love Big Bird. I actually like you too. But I'm not going to keep on spending money on things to borrow money from China to pay for. So that's number one.
Jim Lair, that's when you should have said, "Oh yeah? Well, I got a bird for you." Then Obama, you should have said, PBS is 0.012% of the budget. 0.012% of the budget. That is nothing. You say you're for education. PBS is the ultimate classroom. It also can't be coerced by sponsors. PBS is an American institution. And you want to cut that?
Is the program so critical it's worth borrowing money from China to pay for it? And if not, I'll get rid of it. Obamacare is on my list. I apologize, Mr. President. I use that term with all respect, by the way. Good. Okay, good.
Obama, this is what you should have said. Shit, I don't care anymore. Call it Obamacare. Hey, but you were talking about the CBO earlier. I've got another graph I brought. It shows that the CBO predicts Obamacare will save trillions of dollars in the long run. Then Obama, this is what you should have said. Secondly, Mitt, you need to stop talking about you being a crusader for fighting against China. That is the most ridiculous statement I have ever heard. You have been in bed with China for decades. Your company, Bain Capital, buys American jobs specifically to ship them overseas. So give me a break. In fact, there's a factory right now in Freeport, Illinois, that all their jobs are getting shipped over to China. And that's right, it's Bain Capital, Mitt Romney's company. All Mitt Romney has to do is make one phone call, and he could stop that from happening. In fact, you know what? I have my iPhone right here. Mr. Romney, why don't you give them a call? Why don't you give them a call and stop that from happening? No? You don't want to? That's what I thought.
Which is, you said you get a deduction for taking a plant overseas? Look, I've been in business for 25 years. I have no idea what you're talking about. I maybe need to get a new accountant. But the idea that you get a break for shipping jobs overseas is simply not the case.
Obama, that's when you should have said, no, what the fuck are you talking about? You know perfectly well that there are tax breaks for shipping jobs overseas that your party supports. We, Democrats, have tried to stop that from happening. You and your Republican friends from Congress tried stopping one of the biggest bills, the Bring Jobs Home Act, which would give tax break to companies who wanted to bring jobs back to the U.S. that were in China.
And the answer is neither the president nor I are proposing any changes for any current retirees or near retirees, either to Social Security or Medicare. So if you're 60 or around 60 or older, you don't need to listen any further. But for younger people, we need to talk about what changes are going to be occurring. Oh, I just thought about one. And that is, in fact, I was wrong when I said the president isn't proposing any changes for current retirees. In fact, he is on Medicare.
Obama, that's when you should have said, oh, no fucking way. No fucking way you're getting away with that one. You actually want to change Medicare into a voucher program. Oh, here, I have a coupon. Can I get some health care? That's predicted to add $2,000 more to seniors. That's an average. It could go way higher, actually. That's right, that is the strategy of the Republican Party now. It's that extreme. But you know what? Romney, you know, I got another video with Romney now. Let me find the video. Okay, got it.
Does the government have a responsibility to provide health care to the 50 million Americans who don't have it today?
Well, we do provide care for people who don't have insurance. People, if someone has a heart attack, they don't sit in their apartment and die. We pick them up in an ambulance and take them to the hospital and give them care. And different states have different ways of providing for that care.
That's the most expensive way to do it.
Well,
in the emergency room.
The point is, the ER is not a productive or caring way to care for our fellow citizens. No matter how much you say it, your plan does not support stopping pre-existing conditions. It just does not. Then Obama, you might not like this part, but this is what you should have said. So look, we're both Christians. Okay, you know what? I'm a Christian, and you believe that God lives on a planet named Kolob. You believe that God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit are three separate beings instead of one. You believe that God created multiple worlds and that there are other people living on it. You do not believe that there's one God, but that there are multiple gods that are in charge of all the different universes. You believe that Virgin Mary wasn't really a virgin. You believe that when you die, you'll get your own planet to rule over. Of course, it's also a sin for you to drink caffeine and beer. That may be the saddest thing of all. But nonetheless, we both are part of a religion that is supposed to care about the sick.
That brings us to closing statements.
Obama, your closing arguments should have been this. Look, my opponent is betting against America. He's doing it by putting his money in the Cayman Islands, in Swiss bank accounts, in tax havens all around the world. He is not paying his fair share of taxes, yet he bitches that the taxes are too high. He is not releasing his taxes. I released mine. Finally, one more thing. I want to just get out my iPhone one more time. I've got a video I want to just quick show you. And there it is.
47% of the people who will vote for the president no matter what. All right, there are 47% who are with him, who are dependent upon government, who believe that they are victims, who believe that government has a responsibility to care for them, who believe that they're entitled to health care, to food, to housing, to you name it. But it's an entitlement, and the government should give it to them. And they will vote for this president no matter what. And I mean, the president starts off with 48, 49, 40, he starts off with a huge number. These are people who pay no income tax. 47% of Americans pay no income tax. So our message of low taxes doesn't connect. And he'll be out there talking about tax cuts for the rich. I mean, that's what they sell every 4 years. And so my job is not to worry about those people.
And booyah! I'm out of here, bitches! Alright, we have some really, really, really great news. The unemployment rate, it was 8.1 and it dropped down to 7.8%. That's so great. Of course, the number 7.8 isn't great, but that jump is great. It's a steady decline, and that's what we need. In 2008, when all this was happening, no president could have came in here and fixed the economy in 4 years. Now, I will concede that it could have been better. We could be at 6% maybe if it wasn't for Republicans filibustering, stopping many of the bills that could have helped. But nonetheless, if this decline, this trajectory keeps on happening, as John Nichols from the Capital Times said, we could be in the 6%-ish range at inauguration. So, do we really want to change course now? Seems like things are starting to decline pretty rapidly. Ann Althouse. Oh, Ann Althouse. We once had a thing for a short period of time. I don't know if it's a thing, but it was like a Sam and Diane sexual chemistry. You could just feel in the air. I don't think her husband, former New York Times columnist Lawrence Mead, likes me very much because of it. But oh, Anne. Our fling, it was short and it was sweet. But unlike James Carville and Mary Madeline, our political differences were just too much for us to handle. In fact, I'll be the first one to say it. I made mistakes, and I am sorry. But I do have a bone to pick with you. I have a bone to pick with you and 2 other professors from the UW. A day before our President Barack Obama came to Madison for a rally, Ann Althouse and 2 other UW professors, Donald Downs and Ken Mayer, released a letter stating that they believe that students should not have had to hand over their phone numbers and emails to get into the rally. Since I read Althouse every day, I kind of saw this coming. There was a post about it a few days earlier, posting an email from Ken Mayer pointing out other reasons he didn't like Obama visiting the campus. UW professor Ken Mayer stated that he thought the location was disruptive and that he may have to work at another location on campus. Or even worse, he might have to work from home. Oh no! The letter from all 3 professors stated that this is not about being partisan. And that is where I call bullshit. Republicans do the same exact thing on campaign stops, and I don't blame them. They need people, they need names to canvass locally, and that's where they get them. So, big frickin' deal. Sure, they may require you to put your name and phone number and email address on there, but you know what? Just make it up. Make up your name, make up phone number, make up an email address. That's what I've done before. It's not that big a deal. To me, this is history in the making. To me, this is the best civics lesson a college student can have, whether it's Obama or Romney visiting the campus. I would think 2 political science professors and a law professor would understand that. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. God bless you, God bless Wisconsin, and God bless these United States of America. Thank you.